Welcome aboard the BK Escape Pod. That's right, it's the augmented and bionic podcast version of the live show you can hear Saturdays from 10 a.m. till 12 p.m. Eastern on 100.3 FM and AM 1450 WBHF Radio. You can stream the show live there Saturdays at WBHFradio.org or on the free Tunein app. Look out, here we go. Stand by for launch.
Stand by to receive our transmission.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
The Force will be with you, always.
As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.
You know, before I even turn on the microphone and start to talk, I'm thinking about a pet peeve that's just sticking in my head.
Uh-oh.
I mean, you know, a few weeks ago we talked about, you know, how you hate people that, for some reason, don't know how to park a car.
Yes.
I don't like people that meet me at night and have no idea that they have a dimmer switch on their headlights, you know? I mean, oh, you can dim your headlights? Really?
They leave the brights on.
Instead of leaving all, and especially the ones that have like the 10 lights on the front, they have to have the ones above their car,
The Jeep
below,
or the truck owner.
the close encounter ship. That's how it looks.
You like the ones that want to
like,
get up
come
close
on.
and see what's in your trunk?
Yeah, or coming up behind me going, okay, I've flipped my mirror to the setting where it's dim and you're still blinding me. I don't know what's going on.
You know, I've got one of those automatic dimming mirrors like it's supposed to do it, and yeah, you can tell where it's dim, but your whole cabin has lit up, like you said,
Yeah.
like Close Encounters is by. I'm like, what is going on? I've got like a microwave glow inside the car.
You're getting warmer. You all of a sudden you can actually read the serial number on your dashboard, reflecting in your windshield. It's
Like,
so bright.
What the? Where's the sun?
See, I just don't. I know some people don't. Some people, I can understand if you forget. Okay, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to dim my lights. Okay, that's okay. You get a pass. But here's the other one that oh, and by the way, it's good morning. It's BK on the air, by the way, on WBHF, Nostalgic Geekiness Talk Radio, every Saturday morning. I'm glad you're here with us. And you can call us today, by the way, anytime if you want to add to anything we're talking about, 770-386-1450. I don't care where you are, where you're calling from, or what you want to call about. You can even change the subject if you want, but you got to change it to something at least we can talk about. You know, it can't be open heart surgery, or we could fake it. We're like, yeah, open heart surgery. Yeah, that's interesting. We can talk about that. You know, you open the heart, you surgery it, then you suture it back up, and it's all done. That reminds me, you surgery it. That reminds me, they were doing a tour on a episode of the Jeffersons one time, and they walked in and they were so proud of the new apartment they had. And George Jefferson, you know, remember Sherman Hensley? He's walking around. He's like, I love this new place. Here's our living room where we do our living. Here's our dining room where we do our dining. And his wife, Wheezy, Isabel Sanford, she walked in here. She goes, yeah, and this is our kitchen where we do our kitchening. It's just so funny. You make up a word to make it funny. We do our kitchening.
I love it.
No, the pet peeve I have. I got to talk about this.
Okay.
Can we just say right up front? Don't you agree that there's two kinds of places to eat? There's the fast food place, and then there's a place like, I don't know, here locally we have a great restaurant around the corner here from us called the Appalachian Grill. You walk in, you sit down,
dine in.
Greeted by a server. It's what I call slow food. Fast food, slow food. Not slow as in you wait and it's an experience. It's not fast and rush out the door. Fast food is, and why do they call fast food fast food?
You're supposed to be able to get it fast.
Get in and out, right? All right. Well, I'm getting in line now more often. I don't know if it's happened to me more often or it's just happening to me now. I'm getting older and it's making me mad. It could be a combination of both. Because I found out the older we get, the less patience we have with some things.
Are you suggesting an irritability factor is growing?
I always wondered about that about my granddad and my dad. I'm like, why are you so mad when somebody does blah, 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 blank, whatever? I don't see that, Dad. Well, I'm starting to see it now. Because I'm the age my dad was when I graduated high school. I'm like, am I really the age he was then? Because even then, I thought my dad was old. He was older than me. Well, when you walk up to and I don't care if it's the drive-through or you go in. If you're in line in a restaurant, fast food restaurant, and you're 3 or 4 behind people, in line. Do you wait till you get to the cash register to look at the menu and order?
Okay, that is not that is not an age thing. That is a common sense thing.
Okay,
that
good.
Enrages me.
Good, because I'm like, you've been
sitting here for 5 minutes waiting for your turn, and now you go, do you sell,
So, yeah.
I'm in the mood for,
So you've had the same problem I've had. Yeah, okay, so
you know
noticed
what?
it too.
I know what I want. How about you move? I forgot this is not a podcast.
Move your
over.
tail.
Just move over.
Your posterior.
Let me put my order in. While you're on your 17th I will have already gotten my order in, paid, and probably
Why do
picked it up.
people do that? And I'm like, and I'll go a step further. If I go to eat, name the restaurant: McDonald's, Taco Bell, Burger King, Wendy's, whatever, wherever you're going to. I usually know before I walk in the door what I'm going to get because I've got that. Most of those menus are memorized. I know what's there.
Yeah, it's almost like this is the first time you've ever. And by the way, if that is the case, wouldn't you have been reading the menu anyway?
Right. You can prepare yourself for what's going on.
Okay, so this goes along with so you've just triggered a pet peeve of mine. First of all, I don't understand people who write checks anymore at the grocery store.
Oh, that's a whole separate
fine
thing.
If you're going to write a check.
Who has checks?
Dear Lord, while they're ringing up your order, you can put the date in the date field.
You think so?
You can put the name of the food place you're buying from, whether it's Kroger, Ingles, Publix. You can even sign the check, waiting for that grand total.
The totals, all you got to write in there.
I get behind the person who apparently has all the time in the world.
Right, and thinks you do too.
Having a good conversation, and then here comes the bill. No. That's $106.86. Okay, now do you take a check? Wait a minute. Did you just ask that?
You're just asking now.
You were chit-chatting the whole time they were ringing up your order. You didn't bother to ask that. Okay, fine.
Right.
Yes, we do. Okay. Fiddle with the purse. Can't find the checkbook for about 2.5 minutes. I'm like, oh, my God. I feel my blood pressure slowly, not rapidly rising.
I understand that people may not have any cash, especially right now. I don't get the whole cash coin shortage thing. I think that's crazy. I don't get that. But with check cards, your bank card and everything, and cash and everything else, why would you? I don't see the reason of writing a check in line at a grocery store anymore with the other ways to do it. I don't get the check thing anymore. And if someone pays now with a check ahead of me in line, when they leave, I look at the person working and I'm like, what did they check? What's that? And they just kind of laugh like, yeah, I know. They still write checks.
I get it. A lot of them tend to be more seasoned citizens.
Yes, that's true. Salt and pepper.
But figure out how to fill out the fields that you've got to fill out anyway.
And they probably do that.
Get the checkbook out while they're ringing you up.
The people doing that with the checks at the grocery store are probably the same people in line at the fast food doing the same thing.
They are also the same ones who, when something rings up as 98 cents, but they swear it's supposed to be 97 cents, will make a third-degree case out of it, look for customer service, and
them go
hold
check
up the line.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm sorry, that apple is supposed to be 97 cents, not 98. I have actually
into
before.
A rant show. I mean, we're ranting.
I did. I just keep the line moving.
770-386-1450. I don't have a time to take a call right now because we're about to go to a break. But if you want to call and talk about something, or if you're on hold right now, just stay tuned, and we'll be back after the break. And you can talk to us about whatever you want. I have an idea other people want to rant about things. But if you're going to KFC, let's see. I don't know. What are you going to have? I don't know. Maybe chicken.
Yeah, maybe.
There's chicken on the menu. Okay, this
do you
is
guys
mostly
sell
what
burgers?
It is. So. Just order the food and get out of my way. I'm hungry. It's a fast food.
Did you catch the name Kentucky Fried Chicken?
It doesn't mean fast as in I don't want to eat. I'm fasting. It means fast as in quick. So, speaking on there, we're here for the golden rage of TV with Pat McCormick when we return. Maybe more rants, too. Who knows? I'm in the mood, It's terrible.
We'll return after these messages.
Tuesday, one look and Fonzie's hooked.
I am in awe.
But his dream girl has a little surprise on the season premiere of Happy Days. Then Shirley's getting married. But who's the mystery groom? It's the season premiere of Laverne and Shirley.
Tuesday night. I'm Louis, the lifeguard, and happy to say I rescued a drowning potato today. They drowned it in sour cream. Oh, what a shame, 'cause food's so much better when it's practically plain. So don't drown your food in mayo, salt, ketchup, or goop. Yuck! It's no fun to eat what you can't even see. So don't drown your food.
WBAJ. You are listening to BK on the Air on AM 1450, FM 100.3, and online on the Tunein radio app. Now, back to a guy who'll make you feel really young, mostly because he's so old. It's BK on the Air.
Greetings, fellow classic TV fans. The 9-season run of Happy Days went from 1975 to 84, totaling 255 episodes. The series spawned major hit spin-offs such as Laverne and Shirley and Mork and Mindy, and included an immense mixture of talented cast members and guest stars over the years. The Gary Marshall-created comedy starred the iconic Ron Howard as Richie Cunningham, a typical Milwaukee teenager during the 1950s. But most would agree that the breakout role was that of Arthur Herbert Fonzarelli, a.k.a. Fonzie. Ironically, he didn't even appear in the opening credits during the first season, so it was clearly unexpected. Reportedly, Marshall originally considered longtime TV veteran Mickey Dolenz of the Monkees for the role. But at 6 feet, he would have been considerably taller than the rest of the cast. Enter Henry Winkler. Having co-starred in the film The Lords of Flatbush with the future star of the blockbuster Rocky, Winkler claimed that he styled many of the Fonz's characteristics on the real-life mannerisms of Sylvester Stallone. Fonzie's impact was so huge that for a brief time the network wanted to change the name of the show to Fonzie's Happy Days. Henry Winkler went on to earn 2 Golden Globe wins and 3 Emmy nominations during the run of the show. In a later episode, Fonzie said to Richie, "Do you know I've had this comb for 9 years and it has never once touched my hair?" Well, after all, much like Winkler's portrayal of Fonzie, the hair was always perfect. This is Pat McCormick with your Retro TV Trivia from the Golden Rage of TV. You can also find me on YouTube and Facebook at Golden Rage of TV and on Twitter at Golden Rage of TV1. And now back to BK on the Air.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. Put your glad rags
Thank you, Pat, for that trip into the Golden Rage of TV and Happy Days. Little rock around the clock. I think the first season themed Happy Days that everyone kind of forgets.
I kind of remembered it. I just jumbled up the names. I was like, was this Halley's Comet that read? No, Halley's Comet is the actual celestial thing. It's
Now,
Bill Haley is what they called it in the comic.
Let's not make any mistake about it. Halley's Comet may have done some rocking around the clock at one point.
Like
rocking around the sun. Yeah, it rocks around something because we know all a comet is a big old rock with dust and gases and stuff that flies around. And
I got a question for you about this. You're a big Me TV fan. You like nostalgic shows. I have not yet gone back to watch any classic Happy Days. Have you at all?
I did it. You know what?
Do they stand up?
A few years ago I did. The early episodes kind of do. It was kind of a fun, as we know, it was a different time in the 70s. Even a show set in the late 50s in the 70s was still a product of its time. And
right.
Even the spinoff that he did not mention on the Golden Rage of TV that we just heard, the Joni Love Chachi, the short-lived, horrible show that was about them, it was set, you'd think it was set, it's supposed to be set, I guess, in the 60s because they couldn't have aged that much more. Mm-hmm. But the whole show, you watched it. You ever watched the title sequence? You're like, they're wearing 70s clothes. Did they not catch that? It's not even set in the right era. What's going on? I did. Maybe it's just me, and I'm older now, but it's kind of one of those shows where I was watching it, but I did find it a little. I can't rewatch this as easily as I did some of the other shows. But don't get me wrong, Happy Days, and you remember, it was a phenomenon. We had Happy Days, lunch boxes, trading cards, stickers, action figures, board games. Happy Days was all over the place. T-shirts,
Never
Fonzie with A.
Missed an episode. You and I, if you remember back, we had a mom special. We talked about what TV mom would we want to adopt us.
No doubt.
And I said Mrs. C, and you were like, Mrs. C.
I did too. We matched up on the best mom on television.
Ahead of time. I was like, I would have loved Marion Cunningham to be my mom.
It was
not my mom's listening.
Right.
I'm saying if I had to pick a TV mom to try to keep up with my real mom.
Oh, it's BK on there. There's no if your mom is listening. She's listening. She listens to this show religiously, I think.
Excuse me.
And I appreciate her for that.
But, yeah, no, as far as if I had to pick a TV mom, like if I had to replace my mom with what I thought would be the ideal replacement, it would have been
And
Mrs.
it's not even like our favorite show of all time. It's just our favorite mom was from that show. She just was the quintessential wonderful mom. She even put Fonzie in his place a couple of times, which I thought was great. In her own nice way.
respected her. I
That's
loved
right.
it.
Oh, yeah. He really did, deep down. Well, I had a story here.
because the actors were the same age.
It's crazy. Terrible. You know, they were playing such older characters that they weren't like, he doesn't look like he's in high school.
He's not high school.
No.
He looks like he could teach high school.
I think one of the rare shows where the kids were playing their age was the Brady Bunch. They were actually their age that they were supposed to be, which I think was great.
Yeah.
Now, Happy Days is one of those shows where I think it went on longer than it should have. You know, shows how they're on life support and they're just the last couple of seasons are terrible.
Is that why we got
Happy
the
Days
expression "jump the shark"?
That's true, and I don't even think that was the last season. I think it was.
Did they do another one after?
Oh, I think they had. Yeah, I don't think that was the last season of Happy Days at all. I'll have to look up that episode. Fonzie jumped the shark.
I do remember the whole family looking forward to that, and like how it ends with like a cliffhanger, and like he hasn't jumped yet.
He's like, or did they stop it there? Or did they stop him in the air?
Oh, I can't remember if
I think
it was
in the air or he's about to go.
They just stopped and they're like, part 2
and
next week. I'm like,
and we all know why a shark was involved in Happy Days because of Jaws.
Yes.
There was a great white shark phenomenon in the 70s that everyone loved talking about sharks after Jaws came out. I have a story here about
he's water skiing with his leather jacket.
With the little thing around it. Wasn't he wearing a flotation device around his waist?
He did, but he had his leather jacket and then the life jacket on top of it.
Swim? He's just being safe. He wasn't as cool as we thought he was.
Without his leather jacket, man.
And then Henry went on to be quite the director. He's directed a few films,
and he's still acting.
Kind of like
he's very good.
Ron Howard did. You know, they said I'll get to this here in a minute, but we got another squirrel distraction here. Making of Andy Griffith, and we know Ron Howard's been a child star, and he went on to be a movie star and a TV star. Older and a director. Andy Griffith said when Ron Howard was on the set of the Andy Griffith Show, now think of how old he was on Andy Griffith. He started as a little tyke, but he went up into maybe 12
was he
or 13.
8 or 9 at that?
He was older when the last season, like 12 or 13, I think, when it ended. He said Ronnie called him Ronnie. Ronnie Howard would always hang out and look at the cameras and with the crew. And I'm like, wow, I wonder why. Look what he turned into, a director. Mm-hmm. That's great that he would do that. He was fascinated by that, even as a kid.
You mentioned that. I'm still binging Next Generation. Some of the best episodes, I think, have been directed by Jonathan Frakes, who is the guy who plays number 1.
It's funny how some actors turn director because they said Patrick Stewart was talking about that once and said Jonathan Frakes, who played number 1 Riker, he said he wanted to be a director because he thought he wasn't that great of an actor. He's like, I'm not a really great actor. I want to direct.
He's kind of a stock character.
Yeah, so
I do the same thing every episode.
He's like, you notice the poses he gets in on like when he's like standing on the bridge, he puts his hands on his hips or he leans on stuff. They made fun of that too, but he said he went to meetings for a year, pre-production meetings, and just soaked up information and learned everything he could. He goes, Patrick Stewart said he went to the Paramount School of Directing on the Paramount lot and just learned everything he did. And he goes, he walked onto the set the first day he directed an episode. He walked onto the set a bona fide, ready to go director, and he did. And he directed First Contact, 2 of the films.
Yeah, I was impressed with the episode. I could just feel like now as an older connoisseur, I was like, this is very well directed. I felt myself saying that watching. It's like
Jonathan
Frakes.
Frakes.
Is a really, not that there's not other ones that are really well directed.
Right.
I just was like, wow, this was his debut episode. Wow.
Yeah, and it was well directed.
It was good.
Yeah. Well,
he was in it, but he was in it as little.
We were talking about, and they do that. Go, I don't want to be. It can't be heavy. My character, if I direct it, it's impossible for me.
It's very hard for most.
We talked about Happy Days on the Golden Ridge and TV. I got a story here from Tyler McCartney at Fox News. Henry Winkler, Fonzie, once talked a suicidal Fonzie fan off of a ledge, and I did not know this happened to him. Henry Winkler recalled the time police asked him to help in talking a troubled fan out of jumping off of a ledge while he was working on the hit sitcom Happy Days. Said in an interview not too long ago that he was rehearsing his lines on the set of the sitcom Happy Days, where he starred as the Fonzie out there, Fonzarelli, from 1974 to 84. See, I'd forgotten it ran to 84. I thought it was way before that it got canceled, but it went on for too long. When an Illinois state trooper reached out to him, the actor said the state trooper called the set directly one day and asked for his help in a dire real-time situation. He said, quote, I have a 17-year-old kid on a ledge, and he's threatening to jump off, and he will only talk to you. you, Winkler recalled the trooper telling him at the time. I don't know where I got the nerve to take the phone and start talking to this kid, unquote. Winkler remembered that the young man told him that his name was John, and he said he was an aspiring actor and wanted to jump because his career wasn't going very well. Quote, so you're 17, you haven't made it yet. Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you collect records? Do you have a record collection? Because at the time, they were vinyl. I said, do you have a record collection? He said, yes. I said, okay, before you jump, John, will you just will them to me? Will you will your entire record collection to me and let me have them, unquote. The actor went on to explain that he was desperate to get the young man thinking about anything but hurting himself and hoping that that obligating him to send the records would prevent him from doing anything at the moment. He bargained with him that if he stepped off the ledge, they could talk about acting, which the 17-year-old agreed to do. Quote, I was 27 when I got the Fonz, John. I think you've got 10 good years to keep trying. How about that, Winkler said. Will you do that? Can I get back to rehearsing? With that, the star hung up, and presumably it was reported the boy was safe.
Aww.
So I never knew that story.
Never heard of that either.
From Henry Winkler. So I've always heard that he's a class act, really nice guy. I've heard him in interviews talking and stuff like that. And we have actually a Happy Days cast member tie-in on this day today, because it must be Happy Days Day today. It's a happy day, Happy Days.
Yeah, we started off so happy with our rant.
Yeah. What happened? Maybe we needed that.
We needed to get rid of it.
Happy Days to come back in. Yeah. And that's another show that he talked about, Golden Rage of TV, Pat McCormick. It spun off Laverne and Shirley. And it spun off Mork and Mindy. People forget that Mork and Mindy is from Happy Days. Mm-hmm. Mork and Mindy was Mork was a dream Fonzie had. He fell asleep, I think, in Richie. One of them had a dream, and a dream sequence that Mork came to the door, an alien, and was talking to him and did some strange Mork things that he wound up taking to his show. And it started on Happy Days as a dream sequence, which means I guess Mork wasn't really a dream. Mork was real.
Yeah,
he was real.
Was there a tie-in later, a crossover episode where he came back? I thought there was something with him and Mrs. C.
I don't know. No, I'll have to look that up. I don't remember it. But it could be true, because you know how our memory is.
Yeah, or I might have dreamed it.
Did you know Happy Days and Mork and Mindy both had a Saturday morning cartoon for a while on ABC?
Yes, used to watch the Mork and Mindy cartoon.
Speaking on there, sit on it. I am. I'm sitting on the chair right here. Catchphrases, that's right. It's warm.
Hello there. You know, I've been all around this wonderful world of ours, and in all of this world, nothing else is silly putty. What is silly putty? Well, it's a real solid liquid. If you pull it so, it'll go forever, like taffy. But if you give it a sharp tug, it'll break like a biscuit. Now, when you make silly putty round and drop it, it'll bounce higher than a rubber ball. And here's something else you can do with silly putty. Flatten it, press a picture in your newspaper, lift it, stretch it this way and that, and you'll get something that's really funny. Always put your silly putty back in its egg, or it will run slowly away. You can buy silly putty for $1 wherever toys are sold. And remember, nothing else is silly putty.
A little nonsense now and then is relished by the wisest men.
You are acting so weird and immature.
Long distance directory assistance, every code 212. Say hey, and off. This is Mr. Rhythm and Blues.
Nothing like talking about our careers off the air, going absolutely nowhere. But that's okay. At least we did.
It's like a Meatloaf song. I'm going nowhere, and we're going nowhere fast. That's not Meatloaf. What is that? That's from Streets of Fire.
Right. Or we're on an express elevator to hell, going down. From Aliens.
Somebody wake up, Hicks.
Yeah. Look into my eye.
Would you like me to fetch your slippers for you? Gee, Sarge, would you?
It's because the floor is freezing. Just do alien quotes all day. We could do a whole show about quotable films. Aliens, Tombstone, some of the best lines in these movies that we love.
Well, just listen to our show. We're probably going to quote something.
We'll say a few from Jaws. Squeeze a few in here and there. I'll drink to your leg.
You drink to I'll drink to your leg. You drink to our legs.
We might have a few quotes coming up right now because it's time to...
Wait,
Match your dice, Clay. Flash the audience of the news, the weird, the strange, and the bizarre.
You're unbelievable. Oh!
I'm over here now. Little Miss Muffet.
Well, I do have the first news.
Set on a tuffet. I can't do that one.
Say, hey, what's in the bowl?
Yeah. Missy?
Ma'am?
Ma'am?
Well, from UPI, a 13-year-old swimmer has become the youngest person to make the Godfather swim across California's Lake Tahoe.
Oh, it's another one of those.
Yeah, James Savage made the 12-mile swim from Cave Rock to the Godfather Mansion in Homewood in under 7 hours and became the youngest swimmer to complete the feat. Savage, who started swimming competitively at age 5. You know, the thing I'm doing competitively at age 5 is trying to figure out which crayon I'm going to break first.
He started crawling when he was 1. He was in training.
Yeah, started at age 5, said the Godfather swim was the second part of the plan to complete what's known as the Tahoe Triple Crown. He made the first swim in the series, the 10.5-mile Vikings home swim from Cave Rock to Emerald Bay in 2019, and his sights are now set on the 21.3-mile length swim. Savage might be the youngest person to compete the Tahoe Triple Crown, a title currently held by a 15-year-old swimmer.
You know what I think I'd rather do than run? And I hate running, but I love walking and climbing and hiking and stuff because it's physical, but I can do that and do it very well.
You can do it.
Running is just out of the question, too, but swimming is, for long periods of time, is extremely tiring too.
Yes.
I mean, swimming is even when I see the guys jogging when we go to the Gulf Coast, and when I see the guys jogging or running and jogging, working out barefoot on sand. Walking on sand is difficult because it just takes everything to move. It's just not helping you at all. It's the most horrible conditions to try to walk or run on, and some guys want to run on it. And you're getting a heck of a workout running on sand on the beach.
Yeah, you do.
Much less swimming. I got the next news from UPI. An Australian radio host set up a Hot Wheels track on a rural road and broke a Guinness World Record by making a toy car travel around 2,624 feet of track. Michael Whipfley, one half of Nova FM radio duo Fitzy and Whippa, pledged, and we're just Barry and Allen. So we need to get a little more goofy-sounding names. They said in April that they would break the Guinness record for the world's longest Hot Wheels tracks. You have Hot Wheels as a kid and the tracks?
Yeah.
I had the tracks, the plastic tracks. I mean, that was fodder from my mom to give us a spanking with. She used the tracks on me once, and it hurt.
Ooh.
Back when you could do that. But I had the kind that where it was the raceway. They'd go down the track, and they'd come around and hit that curve in the track, and you had these levers that pulled these little plastic arms out to push the cars faster. It was the racetrack, and every time they went by, you had to hit them
at the time
faster than your other buddies so you could win the race. So it was fantastically fun.
We had the kind that you could do that initially manually, and then we upgraded when my brothers were younger to the one that had the little battery operated buffers that were spinning. So as soon as it hit, it would shoot it through.
I wanted that one, but I never got to have that one. Now, initial attempts at Sydney's Taronga Zoo and Centennial Park failed when the toy car failed to stay on the track for the entirety of the run, which needed to break the previous record. Oh, there's a record before that of 2,176 feet, 2 inches, which was set in 2019 in Pennsylvania. Whipfley said it took more than 20 attempts on his third day of trying for the record, which took place on a rural road in Oakley Park. I would hope that it's rural. Video of the attempt, you can see it go across the track, and it was fantastic.
How many feet did you say?
That he broke?
Yeah.
He needed 2,624 feet of track of a Hot Wheels car, broke the record.
Wow.
On
2,226,
which translates into what? Are you?
I'm trying to figure out how many miles. Like how close is that to like a mile?
Yeah, somebody that's got the left brain out there has already calculated it up because I have the right brain. I have the useless, creative, being on the radio side brain, so I can't really figure it out.
Let's see.
So. But you got the little converter over there, right?
Yeah, well, I was trying to find it quickly, but I'll have to get to it in a second because I have the next news.
Well, we can find things quickly when we're off the air. When we're on the air, we can never find it. The phone will go dead.
That's the problem.
It'll lag.
Can't remember an actor's name.
Yeah, my name, your name.
Who are you?
I don't know.
A Virginia man's unusual gamble paid off when he bought 25 identical lottery tickets for the same drawing. Dude. He played the same numbers 25 times. He won 25 times for a total prize of $125,000.
You mind telling me what this is all about, Mr.?
Holy!
So he beat the odds even worse.
How crazy is this? Raymond Harrington told Virginia lottery officials he visited the Wegmans store in Virginia Beach and decided to buy 25 $1 tickets for the July 17 pick 4 drawing. The gamble paid off when Harrington's number combination came up 4640. Each of his tickets won a $5,000 top prize, earning him a total of $125,000. That's amazing.
I would react so much differently if I won a big lottery. At first, you'd be like, "Hey, look, you won." I'd be like, "Oh, really? Okay."
No, I would do that when I said, I just threw that ticket away. I never win.
Completely different. Yeah, I'd do that too. Well, it'd be worse than that if I threw it away. That's amazing how they say you can't win the lottery because the odds are terrible, but people do somehow win them. I got the next news. Here's another one of these that make me feel so inadequate. From UPI, a 9-year-old science enthusiast in Pakistan broke a Guinness World Record when she arranged the elements of the periodic table in 2 minutes and 42 seconds.
Really?
Whoa. Natalie Najam of Lahore took on the Guinness World Record for the fastest time to arrange all elements of the periodic table and beat the previous record by 7 seconds, believe it or not. She shaved 7 seconds off the last one.
Holy
now, the
moly.
previous record was set by an Indian economics professor, Miss Meenakshi Agrawal, who completed the task in 2 minutes and 49 seconds. Hey, I'll put both of them up on a pedestal. Make them both.
I don't know that I could put in order 125 blocks if I already knew what they were. Like if I just...
Now, she arranged the entire elements of the periodic table in 2 minutes and 42 seconds.
That's amazing.
She says she hopes her accomplishment inspires other children to pursue careers in science, technology, engineering, and math. In other words, grow up to be a lot of people's bosses.
Yes.
That you're working
Making
for.
a lot of money.
So, yes,
count the money.
Count the money. Oh, the money.
All right. Looks like I've got the last news. Try to fit it in here. We've got just a few.
You got the last one.
Aw, they're doing that again.
Why do I have them in here?
I don't know. You invite the studio audience in, you can't control them. A team of artificial intelligence researchers are teaming with theater professionals in the Czech Republic to create the world's first play written entirely by robots.
This is completely fascinating.
Fascinating. Researcher Rudolf Rosa of Charles University said his team is working together with Zvada Theater in the Academy of Performing Arts in Prague on the project dubbed the AI Tray. Theatre.
Well,
AI.
No. Yeah, AI in the middle. Yeah, isn't that cool?
Theatre.
I got it. That's cool. That's awesome.
Anyway,
AI.
Rosa said the idea was suggested by entrepreneur Thomas Studnick as a means of celebrating the 100th anniversary of RUR, a.k.a. Rosam's Universal Robots, a 1921 play by Carol and Joseph Kapek that is credited with originating the term robot. I had no idea it came from a play.
Yeah.
Anyway, he said the team is working with artificial intelligence models that were previously successful in generating pieces of text, including poetry and dialogue. He also said the team is aiming to have a script finished in September to give the theater group time to turn it into a full-fledged production.
Isn't that fascinating? That's why I saved that one for you, because it's theater stuff.
Theater.
BK on the air. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more fun.
Each word you gotta know. Won't you with me everywhere I go? Inch worm, I'm telling you true. Inch worm, I love you. Inch worm, I love you. Ride up and down on the inchworm from Romper Room.
Your power of K-Tel is hot off the charts. 20 fantastic hits. Original stars. E-L-O. It's a living thing. England Dan and John Ford Coley. That's a forever without you. Gary Wright. Alice Cooper. War. Elvin Bishop. Boss Gag. And Kiss. You'll be a hard luck woman. Blue Oyster Cult. Brass Construction, ABBA, Silver Convention, Diana Ross, and Wild Cherry. Kenny Nolan. I like Doobie Brothers. It's pure power. 20 super hits, $6.99 from K-Tel. Tape or cassette, $7.99.
For you parents who don't speak Klingonese, he's saying, people of Earth, unite and bring your kids to McDonald's for a Star Trek meal. That's a regular hamburger, fries, soft drink, a McDonald and cookie sampler, and a Star Trek prize. Oh, yes, 5 different boxes based on Star Trek the Motion Picture. Action scenes, jokes, games. He says, take it from a father who knows. His kids love him. McDonald's Star Trek meal available for your kids now.
And now back to the guy who knows no limit on self-promotion. It's BK on the air.
We're having a great time here. It's BK on the air, Nostalgic Geekiness Talk Radio. If you want to call us up, somebody called earlier and couldn't stay on hold, but if you want to call us up, 770-386-1450 is our number. No matter where you are, what kind of phone you got, where you're listening to me, on a computer or on the app or on your phone, or you're listening to me on the radio. Is someone listening right now on the FM signal or, heaven forbid, the AM signal? Wow, I'm so glad that radio hasn't gone anywhere. Isn't it nice to know that radio, I think it's going to be around for pretty much forever, or at least our lifetime. That would be fun. Oh, hey, I speak it, and someone's calling right now. Hey, it's BK on the air. Who is this?
This is BR, and I was the one who didn't have the patience.
You got some patience now, so BR. Hey, how you doing? What's going on?
Oh, nothing much. They were talking about the Hot Wheels little track.
Yeah, the long track the guy made, yeah.
Okay, yep. I remember when they used to have it called a fueling station, when they had the little battery in there.
Yeah, that's right. I wanted that one. See, I never got that. Yeah.
And I just thought that was a neat thing because it brought back a memory that I had.
Yeah, I always coveted other kids' things that they had. You know, when I went to school, I had like a Space 1999 lunchbox, but a friend of mine had the $6 Million Man lunchbox, and a friend had the emergency fire truck one, and we always wanted each other's lunchbox. Oh, I'd rather have yours. Well, I always coveted my friends' Hot Wheels things that I didn't have that they had. So, like, no, I'm not satisfied with mine. I'd rather have that one. Now, did your parents, did your mom or dad give you a whooping with the racetrack like mine did once or twice?
Only, we'll say once.
Okay, so you did too. Okay, little did we know that when we got
that. This way, I relearned sir and ma'am quick, fast, in a hurry.
Yeah, you see that racetrack over there?
Do what was completely taken out of my vocabulary and lexicon.
I don't think that kids today would be able to survive if it was the way we grew up in the 60s and the 70s, would they? No way.
Most of the parents would have been all locked up for child abuse.
Yeah, that's right.
I just thought I was just learning a lesson.
Alan just said, the kids now think we're making it up. What happened?
Yeah, no.
No, we're not.
Well, my grandfather, if you hollered over "do what" as an answer to something he had said to you, that's just an automatic. That's not. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, you don't question.
And you learned the first time that you try to drop to your knees, and you're going to get it in the back then.
Right.
Oh yeah, you better sit still and take it.
Yeah.
And the gluteus maximus is the quickest way to a child's brain.
Right. And to kids today, by the way, that's your butt he's talking about. You didn't understand what he meant by saying that, so we even knew what that meant.
It's a transformer.
That's right.
It's a gluteus maximus.
You ever have them going to the Cartoon Network trying to figure out who gluteus maximus is?
Hey, thanks for calling, buddy. I appreciate you checking in.
Hey, you're welcome. Y'all have a great day, buddy.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
What would it transform into?
Well, I don't know, but you make the noise. Sounds just like it. So.
We got Maximus Prime meeting with his counterpart Gluteus Maximus.
Gluteus Maximus.
Like it's on the alternative world. You got Maximus Prime. Wait, it was Maximum. What was his name? Maximum Prime.
Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime. There we go.
Optimum Gluteus Maximus Prime.
Optimum Prime meets Gluteus Maximus.
He almost sounds like a gladiator. It's just come from that. So,
are you not entertained? I am.
Gluteus Maximus stinks sometimes.
Depends on your Gluteus Maximus. I may be entertained.
Sometimes my mom would maybe go outside and pick the branch off the tree that was going to be used on me.
They would send you.
Now, that's what I'm saying. She made me go out. And if I didn't bring back a right one, I'm like, I could get this little one. Oh, that ain't going to work. That's not going to pass.
Yeah, but you got to be careful. Some of those really whispery ones could just really whip crack you.
Well, either way, we were going to lose.
You're gonna lose.
It doesn't matter. If it was a blade of grass, my mom was going to use it in an effective way.
Oh, the first time I told my friend, because he used to get hit with a wooden paddle, I was like, my dad uses a belt. Like, I wish it was a wooden paddle.
Oh, please use a little
So
wooden
my mom grabbed a wooden paddle, and like, holy crap, that hurts just as bad as a belt.
Why did my mom use my toys against me? My race car track, my little. Remember you just mentioned it, the paddle with the little red ball and the rubber band. Mm-hmm. She grabbed that. I started thinking about when I would want toys. I'd go, now wait a minute. If I buy this toy, this is a metal train track. Do I want this in the house? It can be used as I will correct him. Like in The Shining, Mr. Grady, my daughters didn't like the Overlook Hotel, so I corrected them. Right, needs to be corrected. Oh, speaking of movie in The Shining, well, not speaking of The Shining, but speaking of movies, I got a couple of movie director stories here. One comes from MovieWeb. Did you hear about this? You know, director James Gunn, who helmed Guardians of the Galaxy for Marvel and other films, he's directed the DC Comics The Suicide Squad, which is the sequel to the first Suicide Squad film. What a wonderful name. They just added the word "the" to beginning to make the sequel called The Suicide Squad.
Is it a sequel or is it like
it's a sequel.
A reimagining
it is
of
a
what
sequel.
the first one was supposed to be?
James Gunn has stated that he had 100% zero studio interference on his film, which I guess is a good thing. Details surrounding Guardians of the Galaxy director James Gunn's upcoming comic caper, The Suicide Squad, are slowly starting to seep through. Whilst we may not have much confirmation of who some of the cast are playing or what the story will involve, we know Harley Quinn's back. Gunn has revealed something very promising about the studio's approach to his take on the DC supervillain team, notably that they've left it well alone. He said in a tweet, "I can confirm # the Suicide Squad is 100% zero interference, no holds barred me. And again, I can't wait for you guys to get a glimpse of it at DC Fandome." That's DC Fan, DOME, which is coming up. That's a virtual convention like Dragon Con's having a virtual. They're all doing virtual now, and I guess they're going to release some of the details behind it on that coming up. Got another caller on the air right now. It's BK on the air. Hey, who's this?
Hello, gentlemen. It's Walt into Darkness.
Hey, buddy.
Well, hello.
Colin. What do I owe this pleasure?
Well, I just wanted to chime in and tell you about the worst child beating in the state of Ohio's history.
Were you involved?
Oh, I was the crux.
You were you were on the receiving end. Okay, tell us about it. What happened?
So we were in a Sears in Columbus, Ohio, and we had lunch, and I had a toothpick in my mouth, and I was probably 7 or 8.
So you were at Sears, so you had an audience. Good, all right.
Yeah, I did, and my sweet mom had me and my brother there, which is just a nightmare in its universe. And this nice little lady said, "Son, do you know that toothpicks can cause cavities?"
Toothpicks can cause cavities?
What?
Yes.
What?
And I'm no scientist, but I don't think that's true.
I really don't either.
And I didn't know what to say, and I said, "Shut up and leave me alone."
Oh, not to another adult.
No.
And my mom looked at me and looked at her and smiled and said, "Excuse me, but my son just told me he needs to go to the bathroom."
You need to go to the bathroom, okay.
Did you have that pit in your stomach?
I hide out.
Wow. So you left part of your hide in the bathroom.
I did. My best part is in Columbus, Ohio.
It's still there. Oh, that's terrible. We all got these war stories. That's incredible.
But you know what? From then on, I was respectful, and even when I didn't know what to say or was offended by something, I smiled and was very polite.
So the corporal punishment did its job.
It worked well in that area.
Wow. Oh, wow. That's crazy. The worst one I ever had is we transferred to a new school. I'll share this one with you. It'll come up at the top of the hour. We transferred to a new school, a new place to live, and I didn't want to be there. My mom and dad had divorced or whatnot, and I was just fit to be tied. I did not like my life and what was going on. No kid would. And it was coming up on Monday, first day of school, and she's like, "Get ready. You're going to school. Here we go. Everybody's get ready. Your sister's already gone." And I'm like, I'm not going to that school. She's like, "Yeah, you are. You have to go to school." I said, "No, I'm not." "Yeah, you are." "No, I'm not." And then I said, "I am not going to that," and I used a expletive which starts with an F. School. If only if it were that. So all I remember, Walt, there's a flash. That's all I can remember. But there's this big bright flash. My whole life flashed in front of my eyes. Almost fell asleep, but my whole life flashed in front of my eyes. And what had happened was my mom hauled off and gave me a good slap across the face. Is what I got.
Did you hear that high pitched whine?
Looking back on it, at the time I didn't think I deserved it, but looking back, I'm like, oh, I desered that one. Oh my goodness! You can say what you want about how you're supposed to do it, but maybe you shouldn't do that.
The speed of sound being broken.
It did. It was terrible. But buddy, we did grow up in another era, didn't we?
We did. Well, one time I was acting out, and my dad grabbed his handcuffs, my wrist, and handcuffed me to the couch.
Let's all make it clear that your dad worked for the GBI. That's why you had handcuffs. Let's just make that clear.
FBI.
Okay? The FBI, yeah. That's right.
He said, "I'll be back when you're done," and he left the room.
You're like, anybody got a hacksaw?
Oh, look at, we love 100.3.
Oh, we got people. That's awesome.
Good deal. We love your doggies.
That's great. That happens to be my IQ, too, by the way.
100?
Which is not really good.
Really?
No, it's not, is it? It's not bad. It's not good IQ,
It's
is
not
it?
that great.
It's not, so I'm saying. It's my IQ.
It's okay.
People walking by the window here, Walt, you know how that is. You've been here before.
Oh, yeah, they're giving you the one finger.
That's right. They actually say they loved us. I couldn't believe it. Well, we're coming up on top of the hour break. Buddy, thanks for calling in and tell us your corporal punishment stories. We love it.
Hey, as always, love listening. Thanks, guys.
Man. You're out there. Talk to you later. Bye. It's Walt in the darkness.
There's two kinds of beatings you get as a kid when we were growing up. The kinds of beatings you got when you were behind closed doors and doing something in your house.
Yes.
And then the extra strong, long ones when you embarrassed your mom and dad publicly.
That's right. And some of us were lucky enough to get both of them.
Oh, you know
it was really
worse?
bad.
When your neighbor whooped you for doing something and brought you home, and then your mom and dad were so embarrassed your neighbor had to whoop you, you got whooped again.
And could whip you without any fear of suing or recrimination or anything.
Oh, no.
Like that,
My mom
they
and
knew.
dad often have said, oh, you should have whooped him. Yeah, you shouldn't have brought him back home. He may not be back tomorrow.
Alan's missing. At least you show back up and you're like 21. You're like, been gone for a few years.
I've lost some time.
Corporal punishment. Yeah, BK on the air. We'll be back after this.
I'm Earl Shive. I'll paint any car for just $99.95.
This week only, you'll get polyurethane additive free. A $19.95 value absolutely free. With polyurethane, your paint job will have an extra hard glass-like finish and added durability. Your paint job will be guaranteed not to fade for 4 full years. Remember, free polyurethane this week only at Earl Shive's.
Right. I'll paint any car for just $99.95.
Those are not the sounds I am seeking. WBHF.
Stand by to receive our transmission.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
The Force will be with you. Always.
As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.
Hey, we're back. It's BK on the air here on AM 1450 and 100.3 FM WBHF. No channel Star Wars today. They had a problem getting their Star Wars report done. So I'll do it this day in history, and we'll start off with the cinema this day in history, August the 8th. How about this for a Star Wars report? Star Wars was the #1 movie this day in history on August the 8th, 1977.
I would believe that.
How about that? I mean, it had obviously been released already. So, but you know, for a while, it wasn't the #1 movie in '77. Smokey and the Bandit was the biggest movie because it was playing in more
on the
theaters.
Opening weekend.
Yeah, and Star Wars wasn't playing it on that many screens, but it quickly overtook Smokey and the Bandit very quickly.
It
so
caught on.
Star Wars.
A couple of people were like, "Hey, that might be an okay movie to go see."
Word of mouth. This is a great movie. Another movie, 1986, on this day was released. One Crazy Summer with John Cusack.
Oh, that was actually a good flick.
Yeah, I want my $2.
That wasn't One Crazy Summer.
$2, wasn't it?
No.
Yeah, it was.
No.
Was it? Or was that Better Off Dead?
Better Off Dead.
You know, I mixed those up.
One Crazy Summer is the one where he was supposed to go on a trip with his girlfriend and his family and ends up getting on this like crazy adventure.
Savage Steve Holland directed it. Isn't that the one where he works at they have little animated hamburgers that start to dance and stuff? That's better. See, why do I make? Is it both John Cusack?
Yes.
That's why I'm mixing them up. That's why I'm mixing them up.
One Crazy Summer is good.
Well, you know what? Better Off Dead's funny, too.
Better Off Dead's not. Apparently, it must be the better movie.
But I don't think it premiered on this day in history. It was One Crazy Summer.
You know what? No,
I'm sorry.
Okay, it did. It's okay.
Okay, we can say that. Okay, well, like people are going to check. You know, that's fine.
It's like the Van Halen song playing. Hello, baby.
Well, hey, speaking of a song, another movie premiered on this day, too, in 1986.
You got the touch. You got the power. Yeah.
No, that is not from Boogie Nights. That one's a little less
Although he
sung.
sang
Less,
it in Boogie Nights.
He sung it horribly in Boogie Nights. Today, this day in history, Transformers the movie. This awesome "You Got the Touch" song is from
Remember how
Transformers.
controversial it was? They kill Optimus Prime in the first 15 minutes of the movie. Not even that, maybe the first 10 minutes.
And some guys that had got to go see this movie with their date or a girl or something like that, they're like, are you okay? Like, no, I got something in my eye, because you got the guys crying when Optimus Prime died.
Surely
no.
he comes back at the end, right? No,
that's terrible. We learned some kids learn from death from this film.
Yep,
and it was Optimus Prime. Optimus,
the
Gluteus
universal
Maximus
greeting.
Prime.
I've learned this when I was a kid. You know the universal greeting they taught you in that movie?
What was that?
Ba weep, grana weep, ninny bomb.
You were a Transformers fan, weren't you?
I was a Transformers kid.
See, I never got into. I don't know. Transformers came out, and I'd stopped playing with toys and doing stuff by that point. There's that gap between our age, how that shows up is right there. I'd stopped liking toys and stuff at that point. But man, they were a toy phenomenon.
But you saw the movie, didn't you?
I saw it later. I didn't see it when it came
played
out.
a character, and you had Orson Welles played Omicron, the planet.
Didn't see it when it came out, though, but I saw it later. On this day in history, August the 8th, 1914, the third pole expedition of Ernest Shackleton Endurance happened. Remember the British explorer, Ernest Shackleton? We went to the North Pole. If you've never seen the miniseries Shackleton with Kenneth Branagh, you need to see it. It came out on A&E. I think it was in the late 90s, early 2000s. It's about his expedition, and it is a fantastic watch. I mean,
really?
Kenneth Branagh's in it. He's great. But it's got a lot of other British actors that you'll notice who went on to be in bigger and better things. But it's a fantastic representation of what Shackleton went through in his expedition. This day in history, 1929, German airship Graf Zeppelin began the round-the-world flight. We know how it wound up at the end, how it met its demise, or New Jersey, wherever it came in. Oh, and another cinema milestone today that I skipped. I wish I'd have included this. 1986, Stand By Me was released in theaters on this day. August the 8th in 1986. I didn't see that movie until later, too. That's a Stephen King story, too, right? Mm-hmm. I didn't see that till later. I didn't see it when it first came out, but I've since seen it. Birthdays today include Dino De Laurentiis, producer, died in 2010, put out a lot of pretty good movies, but some stinkers, too.
Didn't he produce the Transformers movie?
He may have. I think he did. Richard Anderson, birthday today, American actor. Oscar Goldman in $6 Million Man and several other films and movies before the $6 Million Man came along. I first saw him in Forbidden Planet, the 50s sci-fi movie.
The Tempest.
That's right, The Tempest. In space. He died in 2017. I got to meet Richard Anderson at a convention in Knoxville. It was Fanboy Expo, and we got to go out there and met him. Very nice guy. He'll sit and talk. Some stars are so nice because they'll sit there, no matter how tired they are of talking about it. Hey, this guy Alan likes sci-fi or the $6 Million Man. He likes it. I'll talk about it again because he hasn't talked to me yet. He sat there and talked just as long as you'll talk to him and acts like he's known you for years. He's like, yeah, we're working with Lee Majors, Lindsay Wagner. It was fine because, he was the guy that appeared on both shows on both networks at the same time.
Yeah, so
he was in The Bionic Woman, and then $6 Million Man on ABC, and she was on NBC. It's also Mel Tillis' birthday today, the country singer.
Mel Tillis?
Yes, he died in 2017. It reminds me of the scene in Smokey and the Bandit Part 2 where they run through this amusement park, and they're chasing the bandit to this amusement park, and they hit the supports that hold up the big wooden roller coaster. And as they hit it, the bandit gets away, but Sheriff Buford T. Justice, Jackie Gleason, stops and looks back, and the whole roller coaster just falls every track. What it is they were going to demolish it anyway in South Georgia, and I think they blew it up, and they used it for the film. And Mel Tillis is the owner of the amusement park, and he comes up and he's like,
we're closed.
Yeah, you remember what he says? He's like, I'm the owner of this mess. We're closed. And he couldn't get it out. And Jackie Gleason goes, come on, Junior, let's go. We're dealing with a mental case. And he drives off. So that's my Mel Tillis story. So, yeah, never stuttered when he sang, though. I mean, That's just a thing. That's really weird that happens. It's hard to believe that the voice of Darth Vader, James Earl Jones, was a stutterer as a kid and overcame it and became one of the biggest voices in history, which means
most
you can do it.
recognizable, too.
Dustin Hoffman's birthday is today, August the 8th. Great actor, countless films. Connie Stevens, singer, actress from the 60s and 70s, whom one of the ones I had a crush on growing up. Connie Stevens, it's her birthday today. Keith Carradine, one of the Carradine brothers, Keith's birthday today. And
did Connie Stevens also sing?
She did.
Did she have that song "Lipstick on Your Collar"?
I think she did. Yeah.
Is that the song?
Is that her? We'll have to look it up and see. Sounds like
it.
Sang. But she was in a show called which one was it? 77 Sunset Strip or something. One of those shows where they're in the car or something like that. Hawaiian Eye or something. One of those 60s shows.
Some show. They're in the car.
Yeah. She was. I just had a crush on her. She was so good looking. Donnie Most, Ralph Mouth's birthday today from Happy Days. I told you
there's a Happy Days tie-in.
Sit on it, Ralph. Don Most now. He was Donnie Most back in the day. Number one on the Billboard charts, I Just Want to Be Your Everything by Andy Gibb today in 1977, since we were talking about Star Wars, 77. Today is National Frozen Custard Day, something that I prefer now over ice cream. I love frozen custard. And today is also National Sneak Some Zucchini Into Your Neighbor's Porch Day. Only make sure you know them very well, though. If you play hide the zucchini on their porch. Well, yeah, you gotta give them.
Not a podcast.
That's the day that it is today. So, speaking on there, we're gonna take a break now. But when we come back,
yes,
we're good time to take a break. We'll be back with more when we come back. Speak on there.
Radio Shack has the hottest thing on wheels today: realistic two-way CB radio. We introduced our realistic CB line way back in 1960, and today we have 16 low-priced mobile and walkie-talkie models to choose from. Radio Shack also makes its own CB antennas, crystals, coax cables, and accessories. Equip your car, truck, or boat today with a realistic CB radio. Only at Radio Shack, a Tandy company.
Jack Burton in the Pork Chop Express, and I'm talking to whoever's listening out there. Like I told my last wife, I says, honey, I never drive faster than I can see. Besides that, it's all in the reflexes. Just listen to the old Pork Chop Express and take his advice on a dark and stormy night, all right? When some wild-eyed 8-foot-tall maniac grabs your neck, taps the back of your favorite head up against a barroom wall, and he looks you crooked in the eye, and he asks you if you've paid your dues, well, you just stare that big sucker right back in the eye, and you remember what old Jack Burton always says at a time like that. Have you paid your dues, Jack? Yes, sir, the check is in the mail.
Oh, my goodness. What is Jack Burton in his big Pork Chop Express 18-wheeler? What is he talking on? That's not a cell phone. That's a CB radio he's talking on.
He's got his own improv show. Like, turn into the Pork Chop Express.
Everybody listened to on the CB. That's Kurt Russell from Big Trouble in Little China, one of the great movies by John Carpenter. One of our favorite. I love John Carpenter. He was very influential on me. I love the guy. I wasn't a fan of all of his movies, but I think I can count on maybe 2 or 3 fingers the movies he directed that I didn't really care for. But overall, fantastic director. I play that because, why do I play that? Well, there's always a reason for something here. From Brad Miska at BloodyDisgusting.com. Well, not always. What's that for? No reason. From BloodyDisgusting.com, John Carpenter will receive a Lifetime Achievement Award, which is
excellent,
well deserved. The Fantasia Film Festival not only announced this week a massive new assortment of feature films for its 24th edition, but also revealed that horror legend John Carpenter, Halloween, The Fog, The Thing, They Live, Big Trouble in Little China, The Mouth of Madness. Starman will not only receive a Lifetime Achievement Award, but will also deliver a master class to its virtual audience. How would you like to attend a master class by John Carpenter?
That would be awesome.
That would be great.
I thought I read somewhere that they were going to make a series based off of Prince of Darkness.
See, I didn't hear about that. I know about the supposed either remake or reboot of Big Trouble in Little China. That's still banting around.
That's always been a rumor. I thought I read somewhere that Netflix or someone was developing because it was rich with such content that they could create a series around it.
Or a whole backstory or something, to that.
I thought Prince of Darkness is one of his most underrated horror movies.
It was. In The Mouth of Madness, I didn't enjoy it as much, but Prince of Darkness is the one that falls under the radar with everybody, because when you start naming his films, you're like, yeah, The Thing, Halloween, The Fog, Big Trouble in Little China, and you're like, and Prince of Darkness, and everybody's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that movie.
That's a great one.
It was horrific. The whole story about them trapped in the church and the whole evil.
And then trying to scientifically identify evil. And
it was just horrific.
Blown away by it.
Horrific as in scary. It just gave me the creeps. This is the quote from them regarding John Carpenter. In conjunction with awarding him a Fantasia Lifetime Achievement Award, The festival will also present a masterclass from John Carpenter where he'll discuss everything from his own festival origin story to his awe-inspiring career, touching on Halloween, The Fog, Escape from New York, The Thing, Starman, They Live, and many more. In addition, the fest will explore his recent resurgence as a touring musician, because he tours with his own music, and play you his latest spine-tingling single that he's got, unquote. So John Carpenter being honored, thank goodness, because it's well-deserved, because he's a fantastic director. When I didn't go see Big Trouble in Little China in the theater because I saw, something happened. I didn't go see movies a lot every time I could back then because sometimes I had to spend my own money back then when that movie came out, and it was depended on whether I could go see it or not. I watched it on home video when it came out. I'm like, I wished I'd seen that in the theater. That is so great.
Okay, did you like it the very first time you saw it, or were you confused?
I did. I liked it because I didn't take into account, a lot of people took into account, it's a John Carpenter movie. What is going on here? Because he confused people with it, and he also confused people with Starman when it came out, because he made Starman on purpose, because he got pigeonholed as a horror director.
Well, no, it was because
he's like, I'm going to direct a movie that
it was in response to when The Thing came out. It was so close to E.T. People blasted him. They're like, you're making this monster movie from outer space. Why couldn't you do something more like Spielberg? I was like, okay, fine, and did Starman.
That's what I'm saying. They're trying to put him in a hole, a certain kind of pigeonholed hole director, and he broke out. I think Starman, it may not have been the huge financial success some of the other films were. I mean, it was still a success, but I thought it was a great movie. It is basically kind of E.T.
It's an adult
E.T., and it makes no apologies about it.
Now,
but it's great.
Back to Big Trouble in Little China, the first time I watched it, which I didn't understand it the first time, we only learn things, basically, for the most part, as Jack Burton learns them. So I was so confused. All these people are talking about things like we're supposed to know.
Yeah.
I'm like, but then I realized when you watch it the second time, like,
we're with him.
Jack Burton's
we're
like,
with Jack.
What are you talking about, Egg? What's going on? Like, he does. And you realize, we're the Westerners in this Oriental tale. We don't know anything.
All
that's
I do is drive a truck and talk on the CB radio.
I
love
it. It's still now one of those all-time top 10 favorite movies.
I said earlier, I can name the John Carpenter movies that I don't like on maybe 3 or 4 fingers. He did a remake he did an Invisible Man movie with Chevy Chase called Memoirs of an Invisible Man with Chevy Chase and Daryl Hannah. And I don't know what he was trying to do, but for me, as a film, as a person watching the film, I did not care for it, and I watched
Chevy
it again.
Chase in it.
I've watched it since then again, thinking, well, maybe I didn't get it at the time. Let me watch it again. No, I still didn't like it, and I never liked. What was the other movie he directed that I didn't like? It was a Ghosts of Mars. It had all the ingredients, and I thought I'd love it. Sci-fi movie set on Mars, horror film, Mars zombies coming back to life or whatever with Pam Grier and whatnot. And it fell flat with me. I just did not like Ghosts from Mars. I don't know what it was. In the Mouth of Madness with Sam Neill was interesting, but it wasn't one of his better films either. And believe it or not, Escape from L.A.
That was
left
horrible.
me very disappointed. Sequel to Escape from New York.
I couldn't believe it was the same director. What did you do? I can't believe Kurt Russell was in it.
Yeah, I'm watching it. I'm like, this is. You could tell that a lot of money was spent. It's slick. It's got horrible CGI effects of a helicopter crash at the end where he's
surfing on lava.
Oh, and it's like, no, this just does not work. It's almost like Kurt Russell was playing a caricature of Snake Plissken. He wasn't. I'm like, he's Snake Plissken, but he's not. There's something wrong here. So, but with all the other, all the other films with him are great. The little scene early film that he did called Escape from Precinct 13 is fantastic. If you've never seen that, check it out. And even the TV movie he did with Kurt Russell about Elvis was fantastic. And to me, to this day, everybody goes, who's your favorite guy to ever play Elvis? I'm like, it's Kurt Russell. A lot of people have played Elvis, but Kurt Russell played Elvis so awesome. He was so awesome as Elvis in that TV film. Was it Elvis the True Story, I think was what it was called. But it's from the 70s, and it's a John Carpenter movie. My sister, talk about TV movies that popular directors did back in the day. My sister was talking to me about how she's been finding old movies to watch on this new channel that she's found. And she's watching some of the older 70s films. And she goes, I was watching a movie. What was the name of that movie where Dennis Weaver's in this car and he's running from this big truck? He's out west and his car's overheating and he can't outrun this truck and stuff.
Jaws.
I said, that was Duel, And she goes, oh, yeah, Duel. That was a great movie. I just watched it again, and it's still pretty cool. I said, Steven Spielberg directed that. She's like, really? I didn't know that. I said, yeah. One of his first things that he directed. Now, I may have told this story on the air before, but that movie, I think, was Universal. It was a Universal film. They own the rights to it. but Universal also produced the Incredible Hulk television series with Bill Bixby.
Right.
And there was an episode of the Incredible Hulk that used all the truck and car chase footage from Duel in the episode of the Incredible Hulk, because in the Hulk, David Banner hitched a ride with a woman driving a tractor trailer, which was that tractor trailer that they had from the movie Duel, the actual tanker.
Well, why film it when you already have it?
And they used all the footage from his movie Duel. Spielberg heard about it, and he hated that. He found out about that, and he's like, I've made things now. I'm a good businessman now and a filmmaker. I've made it where no movie company could ever do that again. So I'm like, well, good for you, because they stole the footage. Well, they didn't steal it. They owned it. But he didn't like it being used on a television show.
It was a made-for-TV movie anyway.
True, but he didn't like it. He didn't like it done. But by the way, did you know next year, if it ever gets here, next year's 2021. So, and I found that we're talking about how this year is the year of Blade Runner. This is when the movie Blade Runner supposedly takes place.
I think it was 2019 is Blade Runner.
Oh, 2019. That's right. It's 2019. See, I've
You've already
completely
moved
forgot
a year
about
ahead.
2020. So
Just
2019 was Blade Runner.
You know what? I'll go back to 2019.
Me too. 2021 is Mad Max.
Really?
Yes, the first Mad Max film takes place supposedly in the year 2021.
Huh. I didn't know that.
So if things
I know a lot about Mad Max.
If things wind up being like Mad Max in 2021, it'll still be better than what's going on this year, I guess. So yeah. So there's something about camera angles, talking about Spielberg and Mad Max and whatnot. Because since we were talking about them and directors, Spielberg used those lower camera angles for the truck and the car chase in Duel, which was cool because it's effective to put that camera low. Talk about George Miller using the low-mounted camera in Mad Max and the Road Warrior to give you that sense of speed, because if the camera's mounted closer to the road and if it's moving, you could move at 50 miles an hour and it looks like you're going 100 if your camera's close to the road down there where the little white lines are rushing by.
It also makes you feel like you're in harm's way.
I know, you're tied to the front bumper of the car or whatnot. Yeah. But he did that in Jaws. Spielberg did it in Jaws. A lot of his camera angles in Jaws were at water level, where your eyes are in the water. And that makes it more terrifying because it feels like you're kind of there with the swimmers. And it's not, it's not higher. Sometimes it's underwater. But it's right there where, that funny, back in the old days, they had the cameras where if they were on the water level, the water would get on the camera and you see dots of water on the lens. Well, those newer cameras, they weren't like that. They wouldn't stick. They either had the glass covering in front of them or they got where the water wouldn't stick in spots. And it looked creepy. So sometimes camera angle is important. Is that right?
Just a hair.
I would think so.
I would call that composition, camera angle, the 5 C's of cinematography. Those are 2 of them.
And stuff. Plan ahead. Let's film it like this. So, yeah, 770-386-1450. We're coming up on the bottom of the hour break here. I got a story coming up when we come back after the bottom of the hour about a television show regarding a car, a certain black car, which had an actual evil counterpart called Car on it. This car had a name, but on the show there was another car just like it, but it was evil, and it was called Car. So, and they're making a big movie they're supposedly making a movie about this television show. We'll talk about that. And did you know at one point Danny Elfman, the movie composer of many Tim Burton films and movies that we like, he at one point after his first soundtrack, he goes, "Well, I'm never going to work in Hollywood again. This is terrible.
It's amazing.
I don't want to do anything."
Here's the lead singer from Oingo Boingo.
It's funny how wrong he really was that he wasn't going to work. It's BK on the air. Stay tuned for more.
Friday, Wonder Woman shatters a hitman's disguise. Then, incredible suspense as a massive earthquake threatens a nuclear explosion. And the Incredible Hulk faces the toughest test of his life. Friday, starting at 8, 7 Central Mountain Time.
Tomorrow on CBS.
When it comes to shows about movies and comic books, heroes and crazy news, I tune into BK on the air from 10 to noon Saturdays.
Response time is better, yes?
Yes. Kit, what's the square root of 256 in the capital of Montana?
Bonnie, really?
Kit, do you know the answer?
Can Michael Jackson moonwalk? 16 and Helena. Population 22,730. The city boasts some lovely old mansions along Power Street. Police Chief Bill Ware keeps the streets safe, and it's not as cold up there as they say it is. Shall I go on?
You got it.
Did I hear what I think I heard? What do you say, pal?
Michael, I'm so glad to see you. I have new diodes and circuit boards.
Whoa, don't wear yourself out. That sounds great. How's he doing?
Well, we're still not sure, but you can see there's improvement.
Improvement? That's an understatement. We're planning a test run on the track in a few minutes, Michael. Can you be there?
I wouldn't miss it for the world.
There's the Hoff, David Hasselhoff, and Kit, the car from Knight Rider. That's actually what we were talking about before we went on our break earlier. It's BK on the air. We're
That's
back.
One of your breaks. It's one of your bumps.
One of our bumper songs. That's right, because it's such a driving synthesizer music. It actually sounds. Well, yeah.
Did you mean that?
I didn't know. Sorry. No.
Just kind of accidentally.
Kind of cool. You pointed that out. It's you know what the theme to Knight Rider. I know he didn't write it. Stu Phillips wrote it. The guy that did the original Battlestar Galactica show and did a lot of Glenn A. Larson produced TV shows. But it sounds like a John Carpenter theme. If you listen to
At least
Knight
the very
Rider,
beginning.
it sounds like a John Carpenter driving thing. Well, I played that because Gary Gastineau from Fox News has this story. Knight Rider is returning, but to the big screen. But here's the question. We don't care who's playing Michael Knight. The question is, what car will play Kit? What's the car? What's it going to be? Fast and Furious 7 director James Wan, who also directed Star Trek Beyond, is gearing up another car-centric property, a new report says. The Wrap also reports that Wan is looking for a new version of the classic TV series Knight Rider. The original show that you heard a clip there from with David Hasselhoff ran from 1992 to 1986 on NBC.
Wait, you said 92 to 86.
Sorry, 82 to 86.
That's better.
Yeah, that would have been running back in time.
That would have been like, wait a minute.
Kit would have had to have been really fast and a DeLorean to have done that instead. It featured David Hasselhoff as an ex-cop who becomes a private crime fighter under the secret identity of Michael Knight. Do you remember when Knight Rider came on and the narrator went, Michael Knight, he's just talking about Knight Rider. There's a whole narrative at the beginning. I play the one without it because it's the music. The guy who narrates the beginning of Knight Rider was Richard Basehart, the guy that played in Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. He's the guy that did the narration at the beginning. See, more useless things you learn on this show. He was pursuing cases, Michael Knight did, with the help of an artificially intelligent, self-driving Pontiac Firebird Trans Am named Kit. The iconic property has been rebooted several times on TV, very unsuccessfully, in my opinion, most notably in 2008 when NBC tried it with an entirely new cast and a Ford Mustang as Kit. It failed miserably, too, and the season was cut short after just 17 episodes. Now, details on the new film, which is being scripted by Ratchet and Clank video game writer TJ Fixman, are unknown, but sources say it will be set in the present day. That being the case, what car will be Kit's Knight's sidekick, or Kit, this time around? Well, Fox News Autos has a few ideas. First up, how about a Chevy Camaro from Chevrolet? Since Pontiac went out of business in 2010, its traditional sister car is the most obvious choice. From 1967 to 2002, the two sports cars shared a platform and were distinguished mostly by their bodywork. I think they had the same chassis for years. However, rumor has it that Chevrolet is planning to discontinue the Camaro in 2022, which will make someone very unhappy that we know, which would make it for the best product placement in a big budget blockbuster that will probably debut after that. So that's one possible choice. Another choice for Kit would be a GMC Hummer EV. Trucks are the new sport cars now, even SUVs are. The GMC is calling its upcoming 1,000 horsepower electric pickup and SUV the first super truck, they're calling it. Along with the parallel of Hummer being another blast from the past, the battery-powered Hummer EV will feature GM's semi-autonomous Super Cruise Driver aid system that comes standard with an illuminated grille. Unfortunately, because, Kit had the little Cylon eye going in the front. Unfortunately, due to regulations, it can't be read like the original Kits, at least not in the real world, but it can be on the show.
I don't know that I'd be into a truck.
I don't either, but again, times are changing. Another possibility is this, the Trans Am Depot Trans Am. Florida-based Trans Am Depot has taken GM's old business plan and run with it, converting current Camaros into Firebird Trans Am lookalikes. The cars have more of a 1970s Smoking the Bandit vibe and paint job and are missing the all-important pop-up headlights, but it probably won't be too hard to go do a go-go 80s version and slap a little red light on the front of it for a custom Trans Am that they're building out of Camaros. Another possibility, Buick Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. GM is already bringing back the Hummer under the GMC brand, so it's not a stretch that it could do the same for Pontiac in Buick's showrooms with a futuristic twist. The automaker's new electric skateboard chassis can accommodate a wide variety of body types. So slipping a new Firebird Trans Am body on it would be a snap for them. In fact, an animated demonstration, its flexibility depicts it with a Camaro-type body that would look great with pop-up headlights and a red light bouncing back and forth, so that's another option. Last but certainly not least, Tesla's Cybertruck.
No.
Blasphemy, absolutely. But like Greg Brady playing Johnny Bravo on the Brady Bunch, the pointy, alleged autonomous stainless steel pickup with a light bar in the front. It's got a light bar in the front, but it just doesn't move back and forth. It sure fits the suit. That suit, of course, being a black vinyl wrap fitted over its difficult-to-paint stainless steel body. So there's maybe another choice for Kit in the upcoming Knight Rider movie. I don't know what they could do. I think that they could probably... Why couldn't they just build a car from scratch and make it just a special car? Why does it have to be an existing car that's out there?
I'll have a comment on that, but
because you can't use a Trans Am because I don't have them anymore. So 770-386-1450 is our number. Somebody's on the line right now. I have an idea who this might be. Speak on there. Hello.
I have some issues.
You have some issues. Well, it's Issues Eric, so you always have issues.
Yeah.
Is it with Knight Rider, the movie?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sure you liked the old show, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Grew up on it. Loved it.
It was good. That was another one that should have ended long before it did. It really lost it in the last season or something. It got ridiculous.
This had better not be a parody.
I hope it's not. I don't think it is. I think they're treating it seriously.
If it is a parody, I will...
You're going to go all Kit Car on us, right, if it's parody?
There are some things that I will do that I don't want to put on the radio.
Wasn't the evil Kit, wasn't it called Car, C-A-R?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Fun fact, guy that did the voice for Car, the voice for Optimus Prime.
Oh, he did?
Oh, for Car.
For Car, that's right. Car. The guy with the deep voice, yeah. I used to Peter Cullen, I think is his name, yeah.
Yeah.
Great voice. And it's so awesome that he's older now, but they still got him back because he's still got the voice to do the voice for Optimus Prime in these new Transformer movies. It is, yeah. It's great.
The old people should not have the same, don't you?
Your opinion of that will change the older you get. When you get older, you're not going to think that way.
I've accepted the fact that I'm getting old, Barry. Leave me alone.
Well, you're not. You're going to think even differently when you get a little older. You're not going to think that old people are useless anymore. You're not going to think that.
Nobody said that.
Well, you basically kind of say it in a veiled, cloaked kind of way. I know that that's what you mean. I can read.
Okay.
I can read between the lines.
You can read?
I can read. Yeah, I can. I can read you like a book. Well, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Knight Rider, the movie. I every time they've tried to bring it back as a TV show or something, they even did a sequel show. Remember the movie they did called Knight Rider 2000, where he was in a red Trans Am, and it was David Hasselhoff and everything. It was terrible.
I cried.
I know it was terrible. It was worse than anything they've ever done.
I was 8 years old, and I was happy that Knight Rider was coming back. Right?
That's right. Well, it was a fun show, and we'll watch it and check it out. Thanks for calling, buddy. Always good to hear from you, Eric.
Mm-hmm. Bye-bye.
All right, well, calm. Cheer down. It's getting all excited there toward the end. Oh, boy. Yeah, sometimes they remake things and they're not that great. You didn't see any of the later incarnations of Knight Rider,
I did not. Only
they
saw the original
did a movie called Knight Rider 2000, which was terrible. And the newer series, I understand, flopped like a beached whale. Like a dead whale.
So let's make a movie instead.
Yeah, so we're going to make a movie. I'll believe it. I'll believe it when I see it. The $6 Million Man is supposed to be out how long ago with Mark Wahlberg? So we're still waiting on all these properties. To speak on the air, we'll report on them here, though. You know that.
Gather round the Jiffy Pop. Gather round the Jiffy Pop. The Jiffy Pop.
The Jiffy Pop.
Gather round the Jiffy Pop. The family fun treat.
And here's great fun, a Jungle Book Magic Picture Kit, free in specially marked packages of Jiffy Pop popcorn. Each kit's a different scene from Walt Disney Productions' full-length feature, Jungle Book. 4 fun scenes in all.
Here comes the Jiffy Pop. Fresh, hot, and delicious every time because you make it yourself. Gather round the Jiffy Pop. The family fun treat.
Once upon a time in the land of 8, there stood a castle very great, and 8 flags waved in the air, for the King of 8 had put them there.
I'm the King of 8, and I'm here to state that everything here has to total 8. The guards, for instance, by the gate, must always number exactly 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In my castle in back of me are 8 windows you can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In those windows are my daughters. Show yourselves, my dears.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Each daughter has a silver crown with 8 jewels going round.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So I love 8. 8 is great. 8 is the number I do not...
Wait, important news comes from the Queen, a new baby, and I have seen that she is well and doing fine.
Good grief, it's Princess number 9.
Very interesting, but thoroughly supercilious.
Oh, where does the time go? I can't believe we're creeping up to the top of the hour. I mean, the saying "time flies when you're having fun" certainly applies to us on the air.
Ours went ludicrous speed, though.
It's became on the air.
Ours went plaid.
We went to plaid. You know, an anniversary came and went back in, was it April? Yeah, actually, the month they're all running together now. I don't know what month this all, when did this start?
August
March?
Now.
Didn't it start in March?
Yep.
Seems like it started back in 1812
Almost the Ides of March.
Oh, it was terrible. But I have it's Me TV quiz time with Alan here. Let's do it.
Oh, I thought
Let's
you had
do a
forgotten.
quiz. No, I didn't forget. But it's funny. The Coca-Cola changing their formula anniversary came and went back in April. We talked about it on the air. How like a big disaster.
It was
that
all
was
a big
for
conspiracy to swap out sugar with corn syrup.
Yeah, or was it
high fructose?
Were they smart or were they dumb? Who
high
knows?
Fructose corn syrup.
The Cola Wars, the Pepsi Challenge, New Coke, Diet Coke, Patio, Diet Pepsi,
childhood obesity.
These two soft drinks giants have been going at it at each other's throats for decades. We gathered some memorable advertising slogans thanks to metv.com from the 60s, 70s, and 80s and beyond. Let's see if you can match, let's see if Alan can match them.
I might know 70s and 80s. To go back further, I may not be so good.
Let's see if he can match them to the correct cola brand here. So I'm going to give you a slogan, and you tell me if it's Coca-Cola or Pepsi. That's the only two. There's no other. So it's going to be you're going to be 50-50 either way. Your answer will be Coke or Pepsi.
Your Gomer Pyle thing. Hold on.
And I'll keep track here. I'll keep track of which one. Number one, I'd like to buy the world a blank.
Coke.
Well, you didn't even think about that one. You're right. It is.
That's the 60s. Or that's 70s. Anyway.
Or either it started in the 60s and went over into the 70s a long time. Number two, always blank. Another slogan that one of them used.
Always blank.
Always blank. Is it Coke or is it Pepsi?
I'll go with Pepsi.
It's 50-50. And you're wrong. It's always Coke.
Always Coke.
Always Coca-Cola. Always Coca-Cola.
I just didn't know they would do like two Cokes back to back. But now that I know the
now you know that there's no rules in this. It's Me TV, man. They're going to mess you up if they can try. Number three. I should just skip this one.
Oh, yeah, don't
you actually said this one earlier, so I think you know. The choice of a new generation.
That would be Pepsi.
That would be Pepsi, okay. You're right. Oh, my goodness.
Is it the choice or the taste?
If I'd have said no, you're wrong, you'd be like, wait a minute. Number four, blank adds life. Or to some people, health nuts, it takes it away, depending on who you're talking to. Blank adds life.
Well, to the party, it would be Coke.
Okay. Now we're talking about soft drinks.
Okay.
Is that your guess? Is that your guess? Is it still Coke?
I'll say
Coca-Cola?
Coke.
Okay. Yeah. You are correct. You're right on both counts. I don't even know what that means.
Man, Coke makes him the life of the party.
I don't know what you're talking about. Number five.
I tried it once, but I couldn't get the can up my nose.
Yeah, because it was those pop top.
It hurts.
Cut your nose.
How do people do this?
Remember the pop tops that came off the cans?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the fifth one. For those who think young, is that Coke or Pepsi?
Pepsi.
Coke drinkers are old folks. That's what they're trying to say.
Coke's been around a long time.
Number six. Come alive. Is that Coke or Pepsi?
Or Young Frankenstein.
That's right.
Come alive. Live. Come alive. Pepsi.
You are correct. That is Pepsi. We're gonna tally your score up here at the end.
I've only missed one.
Number seven.
You're keeping track.
I am keeping track. Number seven. Pair up with blank. Today it will be hook up with blank. But today I'm looking for pair up with blank. Is it Coke or Pepsi?
Is that with like Coke and bourbon? Pair up?
Well, I don't know.
Coke and
wheat and barley and everything else.
Here, I'm going to say Coke.
Coke. You are incorrect. That is Pepsi.
Really?
I didn't know that one either.
Oh, that's too wrong.
Oh, here's a hard one. Number 8. Blank is it.
Coke.
Like he's coughing over there. Like,
okay.
RC Cola, Royal Crown. Number 9. It's the real thing.
Coke.
Boy, that was another gimme, too. 2 Cokes in a row. Number 10. Catch that blank spirit.
Pepsi. Catch that Pepsi spirit.
See, sometimes when you say it, you're like, oh, I remember hearing that.
Yeah.
Number 11. Gotta have it.
Coke.
No, that was Pepsi.
Pepsi?
Gotta have it.
Oh, wow. I got 3
now,
wrong.
I remember Gotta Love It. That was Popeye's Chicken. or Church's Chicken. One of the chicken places used Gotta Love It. Gotta Have It was Pepsi.
Really?
I think I got that one wrong, too. Number 12. Oh, let's throw this one out because it's a gimme, too, at least for me. Have a blank and a smile.
Have a Coke and a smile.
Have a Coke and a smile. You are right. You're smiling right now.
Oh, I am.
Number 13.
I'm getting all warm and fuzzy inside. Like when you shake up the can.
We love these quizzes for
Alan. It's all fizzy.
MeTV.com. Can't beat the feeling. Is that Coke or Pepsi? Can't beat the feeling.
Oh, I want to say Pepsi.
Incorrect. That was Coke.
Wow.
Has to know. See that? See if
every time I say Pepsi, it's
see
Coke.
if you miss some of those, it's okay because we don't know all of
That's
these.
4.
Number 14.
Aww.
Taste that beats the others cold. Taste that beats the others cold. Is that Pepsi or Coke? Coke. That was Pepsi. I got that one. Because any of those newer slogans that kind of say we beat the other guy, it's usually Pepsi because they're still at war with Coca-Cola. Number 15. Things go better with blank.
Things go better with Coke.
Things go better with Coke. That's true. And that's the last one. You
I
got 10 out of 15.
That's horrible.
Perhaps you are a little too young to remember some of these, but at least you thirst for knowledge, it says.
I do thirst for knowledge.
And if you want to check
I love the fact that I'm too young.
See, you love that, don't you?
Yeah, I'm okay then.
Not always going to be able to say that,
It's
though.
okay.
But there's always going to be somebody older than us.
See, folks, you listen. I screwed up, missed a third of these answers, but that's a good thing. It just means I'm too young to know the difference.
Always remember, there's always someone older than you.
Yes.
Always.
There's always also someone younger.
But there's always more people younger at one point, too. So.
First thing you learn in a job, you're always replaceable.
I was watching a special. There was an interview special that William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy did together. They sat at a little patio table and 2 chairs in Leonard Nimoy's backyard at his beautiful home in Los Angeles. It was called Mind Meld. History of Shatner, Nimoy, Star Trek, or whatever. And they're just sitting there reminiscing about how they got the parts. They're not talking about Star Trek and geeky stuff. They're just talking about their lives as actors, how they started, how they first were contacted about contact of being the characters on the show and stuff, and swapping stories and just being genuine. I don't think they weren't putting on fronts. They were just talking to each other. You could tell it was unscripted to a point, but it was still really nice. And Shatner made a point of talking about growing old. He goes, well, how do you feel now about getting old? He goes, I've noticed, and it wasn't, they noticed that because D. Kelly had died, the guy that plays Dr. McCoy, I think he was one of the first cast members to pass away. And he was the oldest of all of them, I think. And Shatner goes, I noticed, he goes, what's weird now is I'm in my 70s, I guess, late 70s. He goes, I'm starting to notice death now. I notice it more that I get older. I said, I'm very conscious and aware of the Grim Reaper. He goes, and he made this gesture where he pointed. He goes, I see him. He's standing right over there on the hill. He goes, he hasn't seen me yet, but I see him. And I know that he's there. I've been reminded that he's there. And I know that there's more days behind than there are ahead. And I'm like, yeah, that's one way of very painful, truthful way of putting it that I don't like. So, speaking on the air, thanks for having fun with us. Thanks for having fun with me today, Alan.
See you, buddy.
We'll see everybody next week.
Everybody quiet down now and get some sleep.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy.
Good night, children.
Good night, Daddy. Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, Jim Bob. Good night, John Boy.